if you want me to do deep dives on anything, there is that channel point option for a detailed diatribe to talk about a topic of your choice. You must select what we're going to be talking about, and then we will do research live together in person about a topic related to the game. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Because they gave us a big giant blurb.
Charles IV, King of Bohemia and Holy Roman Emperor, had a long and successful reign. The empire he ruled from Prague expanded, and his subjects lived in peace and prosperity. When the emperor died, the whole empire mourned. More than 7,000 people accompanied him on his last procession. The heir to the throne of the flourishing empire was Charles's son, Wenceslas IV, whose father had prepared him for this moment all his life. But Wenceslas did not take after his father. He neglected affairs of state for more frivolous pursuits. He even failed to turn up for his own coronation as emperor, which did little to endear him to the Pope. Wenceslas the Idle did not impress the imperial nobility either. His difficulties mounted until the nobles, exasperated by the inaction of their ruler, turned for help to his half-brother, King Sigismund of Hungary. Sigismund decided on a radical solution. He kidnapped the king to force him to abdicate, then took advantage of the ensuing disorder to gain...
I will say, I love the horses.
For himself. He invaded Bohemia with a massive army and began pillaging the territories of the king's allies. It is here that my story begins.
You think some of those images were from the Maciejowski Bible? Let's take a look at that. If it is, I will pull it up on stream. Maciejowski Bible. Oh, it's the Morgan Picture Bible. Yeah, okay. They're definitely influenced by the Morgan Picture Bible. They're not identical, but they're definitely visually inspired. Let's pull that up on stream, actually, because I think that that's a good point of reference. Come on. Right, the horses are clearly derived from images in this. Alright, like that is just the same horse. The same idea of the slightly too detailed faces definitely comes out of things like this, but yeah. Some of them are probably explicitly taken or cut out of it in a very Terry Gilliam style, but, you know, there's even the ones that aren't, I think, are very much inspired by this one in particular, which I believe is 13th century, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's mid-13th century, so we're gonna ding it 3 times in quick succession on his historical accuracy. You ready, chat? Also, let's keep a note of it. One. 13th century Bible images for 15th century narrative. Sag. 2. British documentary narrator TM. 13th century Bible images for a 15th century narrative. Right, the Morgan Bible dates to about 1250 from France, mostly northern, probably northern France. Second thing, right, British, the official language of history. Honestly, not even a joke. Cause if it is very much a common thing in history games to have your voiceover be done like it is a BBC documentary, because that is so ingrained in the lay consciousness of what history looks like, is the BBC documentary about XYZ. And that means you get that BBC British narrator. And then, as was pointed out, these subtitles look like they are an insular half-unseal, which is more common in, England and Ireland, hence why it's called insular. Instead of being the absolutely atrocious, illegible black letter that 15th century German actually was written in. Let me actually find an example of it. Let's see if I can find one real quick before I click over. 15th century manuscript black letter. Because they're real bad. Also, do I have, I wonder, Czech Charter Václav IV. I wonder if we have charters of that. I'll need to, okay, Google will need me to say it's Wenceslas IV instead of being, Václav IV. Fine. Do we have any charters about this? This is what you came here for, right? Sitting on the title screen while I'm Googling things? Uh, 15th century German. Come on, do you have pictures of it? Give me a picture. Or I could even accept late 14th century, or late 14th century. Boo. Let me. Okay, so the British Library Manuscript Viewer. The Bodleian failed. The Bodleian failed me. So we're gonna take a look for in our digitized manuscripts from the British Library. German, we'll say from 1375 to 1425. Okay, to 1450 works. That's German. Apocalypse in German. Those are illustrations, those aren't helpful. Yeah, let's grab this Apocalypse and see if I can view the images for it. Oh yeah, that's gorgeous. Oh, that's gonna be perfect. Let's grab a random page in it. And back over here. So this is what German actually, right, this is the legible script of choice. This is the legible script of choice in the period. This is in Apocalypse from, about 1350. We're not seeing huge evolutions in the script from 1350 to 1400. I mean, hey. Look, I am trying to find, I bet. Hang on, I'm going to click over here so that you all can't see. But I bet if I look in my old photos, I can get you a juicy one from a bit later. Gosh, what would that be? 2019? 2018? That's gotta be 2018. When did I go to Smichos? come on, Smichos where are you? It's not the very first time I visited Prague. That must have been. Strehov. No. Not there. Huh. I'm surprised it's not there. I thought that would have been in that time. Okay. I failed. Give me just a sec here. There's one I'm looking for specifically, that is a charter from slightly later. That was written in Czech, German, and Latin. And it was a... I mean, it's a gorgeous, example of the script. It's just completely illegible. I'm sorry I'm sitting on the title screen. I just don't want to see you guys look... since I was looking through my own photos, I don't want to dox myself. You know. More than I already do just by existing. Whatever. Medieval Czech charter. We'll just find a random Czech charter. That is all Latin. I mean, that would be fine. The problem is I'm not getting any images. I'm getting the transcriptions. The privileged charter of Brevnov Monastery. That's earlier, isn't it? Whatever, that'll still work. I'm not going to be too upset about that. This is an unbelievably pleasant charter. Does it actually say? Yeah, so this is about a century and a half earlier. Charters get less legible over time. But yeah, this is the script that we'd actually be seeing. So if we are being unbelievably petty about this, their subtitles are much too legible. Real talk, chat. I'm being petty for memes. Don't make your subtitles illegible. That is an accessibility nightmare. We don't stand for it. But if we are saying ultimate historical accuracy, intradiegetic subtitles, this is what we're looking at. Okay, I think that's enough pettiness for this exact moment. So instead, let's actually click back into the game, close some of these for the sake of performance, and let's actually get started. Normal mode, please. Subtitles not historically accurate, game is played on parchment. Exactly. So we're going to get a whole scene in before we click. The early 15th century was a time of turmoil in the Holy Roman Empire. Hang on. Sorry, Chad, I'm moving myself back into the corner where I belong so that you can actually read the title blurb. Alright, let's try that again. See ya, Raptors, thank you for that final plug. The king's inactivity angered many of the nobility, as well as his half-brother King Sigismund of Hungary, who decided to take drastic steps to restore order to the empire. Now, to be fair, that is gorgeous. The high point of this game, I am guessing for me, is going to be wandering through the woods randomly. Because, that looks amazing. Also, yes, can we all laugh at the concept of, the Holy Roman Empire being ordered? In this period, there was no, throughout the medieval Holy Roman Empire, the princes are autonomous enough that any idea of a state-imposed order is laughable. But, you know, we will pretend anyway. Okay, what are we actually seeing here? I actually really like how they're doing these mines. These mines look quite good. I also do really like that castle. That castle is very much in style for this period, through about 200 years later.
God bless. Same to you. Today's a scorch.
I wonder, do we have... I feel like we don't have the evidence to say what people will say as greetings. I don't know that it would be different than
Well,
in
husband, how goes it?
modern Czech, where, you know, it's Dobrý den.
Where on earth is Henry? I need him to run some errands.
He was still sleeping when I went out.
At this hour? Blue-blooded idler.
Well, it looks like he was out all evening, drinking like a lord.
Go and get the lazy bones up then. Quick clout round the ear should do it.
Alright. Is that castle a bit large for the town, though? Looks like it costs some resource and the town doesn't look too large. I mean, maybe, but, like, the density of castles in Bohemia is
Get up
wild.
now. There's work to be done.
Get up or I'll come get you up, son of a...
Hear that? You'd better not vex him. Now get up quick. The breakfast is on the table. Wait, what's this? Have you been... Oh, Henry. How many times have I told you about fighting?
Why is he sleeping in his clothes?
It's just a scratch.
You've been at that sword play again, haven't you? You better pray your father doesn't get to hear of it. You know how he feels about it.
Don't worry, it wasn't that. I just scratched myself is all.
Well, just don't come crying to me if you really do get hurt. Now get up, you rogue.
That swordplay, like it's a trend. Exactly. Right? Totally a trend, and definitely just not something, right, of this recent fad of stabbing people.
A fine state you're in this morning. What on earth did you get up to last
By the way,
night?
we're dinging this, for... Great. Magistressa, you mean this one? Arg, this is set in the extremely early 15th century. By the late 15th century, things look radically different. Well, obviously, still the Holy Roman Empire, at the end of the 1400s. The big thing is that then the Habsburgs are very solidly in control for the course of the 15th century. Right basically after the Civil War, the Habsburgs become the de facto ruling Holy Roman Emperors, which is wild. By virtue of one of them living for 55 years, and everyone who was like remember that the election was actually an election died. There's that. We're dancing.
I went dancing
Dancing?
Yes.
with Bianca.
Ah, that's why you're tired. But you'll still have to work today. Well, I've got a feeling there's something you're not telling me. And it's connected with that scratch on your hand.
Uh-oh.
That suspicious-looking character with a sword who turned up in town recently.
Gunpowder weapons are already a thing in this period? Yes, they are. So, in handheld ones, not so much. It's going to take another generation or so for handheld arquebuses to become a big thing. But Big heavy mortars? Absolutely a thing. They're in the weapon lists for the Siege of Calais from 1380 in the Hundred Years' War. And we are in 1403. Notably, a later date. So if we were to go south across the Alps to Italy, we would see that there are cannon being hauled about all over the place. And Wolfie. Yeah, premarital sex is not right. Apart from some clerics who made a very big fuss about it and had very absurd rules about it, not a thing. Not. Yes, we could be with Bianca again. Uh, I guess we can go with strength instead. This dude, I think they're starting a bit later. Don't quote me on that. Weapon history is not my thing. They could be, but they'd be rare. Obviously, outside of Europe, they've been a thing for multiple years
So I'm
or
learning
multiple
to sword
centuries.
fight, and what of it? What harm does it do? At least I'll be able to defend myself.
God above, Hal. You know how your father will react when he finds out.
How?
Or fighting each other.
Wrong. I just wanted to try it.
On your own head be it then. I can't stop you. And you can
1403
tell your father
is,
Don't come looking
you
to
know,
me for help.
England is mostly winning the Hundred Years' War for that while.
Is father angry with me for sleeping late?
But no,
He's
we
not
are.
happy. Yesterday you promised him you'd help finish that sword for Sir Radcliffe.
Maximilian the First is
Not as
Maximilian the
right as
First
he
is
was.
later, isn't
you
he?
know how his joints pain him. He's too
Yo,
proud
you-
to complain, but he needs your help, Henry.
I swear you all
Don't worry, Ma. Of course I'll help him.
Good. He always says his knees ache when there's a storm coming. I hope they're wrong this time. It's looking
1459.
like such a nice day.
Okay, Niram, so the Habsburg I was saying who ruled for 55 years is Maximilian the First, who takes the throne in 1459. 55 years after the events of this game. So yeah, right, I think in this period, in this part of Europe, we are about a generation away from handguns becoming really popular. Yes, that is the precursor to Charles V. Because Maximilian I rules until 1519.
Do you need me to do anything, Ma?
Ah, you're a good lad. But I'm fine. It's your father needs helping with that sword.
Can I get something to eat?
I left some breakfast on the table. Help yourself.
Uh-huh.
Did Matthew and Fritz come looking for me?
No, I haven't seen them this morning. They shouldn't be hard to find. They'll be hanging around a tavern somewhere as usual.
That's unfair.
Really? So where were you until the small hours last night?
I was with Bianca, of course.
You mean at Bianca's tavern? And who was there with you?
Uh-huh.
No, don't tell me. Let me guess. Matthew and Fritz.
Uh-huh.
Well, at least you were with Bianca. You should hold on to that one, Hal. She's a clever girl.
Correct, Arg.
Might have a secret sometime.
That's actually super,
Wow, that's very
going to be
clever.
super relevant, because,
He thinks he'll be able to
Right.
wheedle the secret of beer brewing out of her.
You're right there. You'd think he was planning to become a brewer in his dotage. Still, that's your father for you. At least he's interested in something, unlike you lot. You're too busy getting into mischief to do an honest day's work.
well,
If Fritz and Matthew carry on this way, they'll wind up swinging one day. You mark my words.
so, chat, death flags? I think those were some death flags. Anyway, let's ding it on some more stuff, because I feel like dinging it on some more stuff. 4. Everyone has British accents. This is in 1403. 1403. 10 years before the Hussite Rebellion starts with the execution of proto-Protestant and populist religious reform advocate Jan Hus. Starts a big kerfuffle and gets everyone chat. Hussite Wars, 1419. One generation, 20 years, 1423. But the reference arc that you threw to Joan of Arc is super fun, because if Joan of Arc had not, gotten captured by England and burned at the stake, she had actually promised the Pope, or the Pope had asked her to lead a crusade against the Hussites, which tells you how well the Catholic Church was doing against the Hussites. Also, and since Magistrates have brought it up, our favorite medieval basic, the very common type of hat for women in the Middle Ages, the St. Brigida's cap, which is very much in style in the 15th century and earlier. This is stylistically probably later 13th century. Well, actually, if it's named after St. Brigida, it might be 14th century. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Okay, yeah. 14th century, 1303 to 1373 for the saint, but style common all over the 13th and 14th century, still in use through in this period. See, 1390 to 1400. From a French manuscript on cooking and bathing. So, thing is, walking around without some kind of head covering would be weird. Not impossible. Not like, oh no, this is a sin, but definitely weird. I don't know about Central Europe specifically. This is kind of out of my wheelhouse, so things might be exceptional, but I doubt it. Broader medieval. So, there's that. Let's get back. We've dinged it on a couple more things there, so let's get back into it. Back to there and there.
Starting to get hungry.
Oh gosh. Sensitivity. Oh boy. Oh, no. Okay. Far as this goes, I actually super duper like, the thing that this game is very good at is reconstructions of houses. Alright, they are 15 apples. I'm sure this will be fine. 15 more apples. It's mostly just cultural preferences, right? Rather than being something nice. Bag of onions, as we're just raiding our own larders. Cabbages. Perfect. I'm sure this will all be fine. Just gonna sit down. We're gonna steal all of our own apples. Seriously? Seriously. But yeah, right, I would not list it as being somehow, some big cultural or some, like, super practical reason for there to be head coverings, so much as, theological ones of, St. Augustine being like, oh yes, women are terrible, and everyone going like, oh yes, Augustine, you are so smart. Though there are, of course, practical benefits to wearing head coverings more broadly. For people of all gender identities. But I would chalk it much more up to between the whims of fashion and, yeah, social trends broadly being like, oh yes, that is good. Well then. Eat from pot. Alright, Physician. Have a good night, my friend. We'll see you next time. Getting a sunburn on the top of your head sucks. Yeah. Yeah. Did I not cook? I got a cooked apple. Great. Perfect. So, yeah, hats prevent that. But yeah, there's also definitely social stuff associated with it. So, yeah. Your mom's gonna be so mad that it's like when my brother could go through an entire bag of family-sized Doritos in one sitting back in high school. True. This is why I don't get chips very often, because I still do that. I don't even, like, intentionally do it. It's just like, oh yes, let me just munch, and then munch, and then munch, and then the bag's gone, and then it's bad. Okay, that outfit is very good. Like, I really have nothing to complain about with this.
What's the matter with you? Didn't you hear me calling?
Nope, I was asleep. Sometimes you need the powers of persuasion to achieve your goals. Okay. Okay. Sure.
Sorry, Father. I was taking a stroll and lost track of time. Somehow I had a feeling I was seeing everything for the first time.
How, my boy? When are you going to get some sense? Anyway, we have a lot of work to do today. I'm finishing the sword for Sir Radzik, and I need your help.
With what?
I'm running out of charcoal. Run to the market and buy a bag from the charcoal burner.
Hey, a real job.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Kunesh still owes me for an axe, a hammer, and the nails I sold him a month ago. Not to mention his debt from before. Go and tell him to pay up, at least for the axe and hammer, and then use the money to buy the charcoal.
Perfect.
Goodness, not drunkard. That'll be fun.
Well, you're a big lad now. I'm sure you can manage. If not, tell him that next time I'll come myself and personally use that hammer to bang those nails into his arse.
Perfect.
I'd be happy to hear it. Is that all?
Not quite. The Chamberlain at the castle has the crossguard for Sir Radzik's sword, which I had engraved in Sasau.
Hey,
Go
look.
and pick it up. Alright. Money, charcoal, crossguard. Got it.
And ale. Stop off at the tavern on your way home. I know you'll be going there anyway to see that girl of yours. But make sure the ale's still cool from the cellar when you get back.
Her name is Bianca.
Okay.
Right, so make sure Bianca draws me a nice cool one. Run along now. Work won't wait.
What dye makes that yellow? I'm not sure off the top of my head. TBH. Okay, yeah, I really like this tiny house. Weld would be a popular one, but also saffron, but that's more expensive. Yeah, turmeric and saffron would both do it, but yeah, importing a North African, and, what, Indian? I think turmeric's Indian, spice for, dyeing would be definitely out of our budget range. Not that expensive, but definitely out of what we could realistically assume our budget is. I can't even talk to you. And turmeric and onion skin, yeah. So yeah, there's a few ways. It's all the important thing is basically just that it's all vegetable dyes, which will mean that it'll fade quickly and bleed a lot. So things have to be re-dyed somewhat frequently. Hello, Yannick.
I'll be with you.
I'm with you, Henry.
How are you?
Father sent me. We're forging a sword for Sir Radzig, and the Chamberlain has the crossguard and pommel. Father had them engraved.
I also do like the idea that, you know, we're not able to do this. So we sent it off to someone else.
I can't wait to see the sword. Just make sure you don't botch it.
When did I ever botch anything?
Where shall I start?
Ah, shut up and give me what I want, or I'll kick your ass this evening.
Right away, your lordship.
Voila. I wonder if we'll get a look at it.
Magnificent. Shame I can't keep the sword for myself. Well, I better go.
Exactly. Often each piece of the sword was made by different people. So, right, shipping off something to either be, actually, it sounds like in this case, it wasn't that it was made by someone else, but rather that some of the fine detailing work, the engraving work, would be sent off to a craftsman, probably a jeweler, in Sazava, that has closer ties to the big roads from Prague, and so has a little bit more access and a little bit higher budget to be able to do that engraving work. And you send that off to that workshop, and then they send it back. Notably, what that actually means is that there are people that are doing that. Because there isn't a, like, postal service. Right? There... Thank you, Yaroslav and Yannick. There is no postal service in this period. If you were part of one of the ecclesiastical networks, you had some fun workarounds, but in practice, you gave it to someone who was traveling in that direction, or you hired a special service courier. It seems like he's a blacksmith, who just happens to also be making a sword.
Which king do you mean, Master Tobias? The one sitting in some godforsaken dungeon, or the one who holds the key to the dungeon?
These are strange times. Strange and ill-omened. But
He's a
since I
swordsmith
serve our
slumming as a
equals,
blacksmith?
Sir Radzig,
Okay, that makes sense.
the answer.
True, but where will Sir Radzig take the silver? Hardly to Guttenberg. Now its citizens bend their knees to Sigismund.
Unfortunately, that's not my problem. Perhaps Sir Radzig is keeping it at the castle until this whole unhappy story.
Yeah, well... It is very much a common, literary motif in the Middle Ages, though. Like, it's not really that surprising that you'll see that overlap of a swordsmith and a common blacksmith kind of, overlapping. And specifically someone, of higher skill masquerading as someone as lower skill. But yes, I do agree with you. It is a bit funky. I'm not gonna ding it as being petty.
What insult? I say only the truth. Sigismund has done only what he had to. He had to abduct the king. He had to lure his cousin Prokop into a trap and imprison him. He had to invade with his army of Tatars and besiege Gutenberg.
Why not? What is this Wenceslas for a king? The empire is falling asunder in his hands. The German counts elected Ruprecht of the Palatinate as king because your Wenceslas would not go to their deeds even.
German counts. Traitor.
Now even the Pope
God be with
is
you,
opposed
Henry.
to your king.
I'm with you, Matthew. What's going on here?
Deutsch is spouting shit.
What?
Just listen and you'll hear for yourself.
Someone has to bring order and reunite the empire.
What do I care about the Austrians? And nowadays, not even the devil himself can keep up with all the popes. Which is the rightful pope? The one in Rome or the one in Avignon?
Do not blaspheme, Alex.
No, it's true though. Wenceslas is the king of Bohemia. Bohemian nobles are on his side.
Will Conrad actually not be discussing this? Oh, yeah.
His cabal. Sir Radzig is Wenceslas' commander-in-chief. He stayed loyal to the king. And if he heard you talking like this, he would have you whipped like a dog.
Your Diet will soon have nothing left to rule. Jobst had to sell Luxembourg to help your king. South Bohemia is with Sigismund and
Moravia?
About Gutenberg. Well, Germans like you.
No, so yeah, unfortunately, right, our source record doesn't let us know exactly how common these discussions would be, right, but there's no reason to think that they weren't aware of it.
Talk of more pleasant things.
My words exactly.
Deutsch has gone too far. Wenceslas is our rightful king.
Deutsch is an idiot. But what can you do?
I might have an idea. Deutsch deserves to be taught a lesson. Doesn't he, Fritz?
Uh-oh.
Too right, Matthew. Should give him a proper hiding.
Are you mad? Do you want to end up in the pillory?
Don't listen to Fritz. I've got a better idea.
I do appreciate that at least some of these people have really atrocious haircuts.
You know, the one right next to his freshly whitewashed house.
You think we should redecorate for him? Count me in.
Well, I'd rather torch it, to be honest. But throwing some tears will do.
What do you say, Henry?
But I was going to get ale for father and a few other things. We're finishing Sir Radzig's sword.
Come on. Throwing a few handfuls of manure is not going to take all day.
Uh-huh.
It's our duty to defend the honor of our king.
So,
Uh-huh.
how? Are you with us?
Heck. No, these people are not squires. They're just our idiot friends. They're just our idiot friends. Do it. Chad, are we doing it? Hello, my name is you. Isn't the historical consensus that commoners and vastly agricultural societies never give a shit about who was in charge beyond their taxes? So, they definitely weren't most interested in their taxes, but they definitely did pay attention to other things. There's one case, I'm trying to remember, I don't remember all the details, so maybe I may be misremembering some stuff here, but I think there's a case in France where the peasantry seem to be very keenly aware that their obligations are to their local lord and not to the, like, higher up lords, and so just straight up refuse hospitality because they don't have an obligation to. So, additionally, this one is probably a bit unusual because their immediate local lord, Sir Radzig, is apparently very high up in the hierarchy, being a commander under King Václav. So,
oh well.
Even if we were accepting that Central European peasants were broadly disinterested beyond taxes, I think this case would be exceptional because there's an active war going on. Hey Deutsch, I want to look at your clothes. Oh yeah, there's a codex. Hey, look at that. There's a codex. That's a fairly detailed entry on it. Pope Vice. Charles inherited the title of the Margrave of Moravia, subsequently the Czech throne. Charles IV founds Uniwersytet Karlova, which is still the largest. Most of Prague, of old Prague, honestly, is owned by the university. So, you know. Including the famous cathedral, etc., etc. So many wow. So many options. So many details. And tutorials. I don't care as much about tutorials. I may need to look at these off screen, but you know, that's fine. That's all fine. So many options. You did. Jewish people settled in Moravia and Bohemia probably even earlier than the 10th century. Initially, they were considered foreigners who the Romans had banished into exile. Jewish traders in Czech lands settled largely around the long-distance trade routes in major centers, which in the early Middle Ages were Olomouc, Brno, Znojmo, and the central Elbe River environs. Most live in Prague, however. Records tell of about 120 houses in a demarcated Jewish quarter of the Old Town. They were under the legal protection of decrees by Václav II and subsequently Charles IV. Over the centuries, however, the flourishing of their activities as merchants and financiers gave rise to protests from many elements of society, in particular the church, sort of. Was there one on foreigners? I didn't see one on... Oh, foreigners. Since ancient times, foreigners meant not only anyone who came from outside one's town or village, and was thus a potential enemy, but also any person without legal status. Foreigners were without legal rights until they paid a surety. So, right, this is true, but it's more of... This is a consequence of that, but... With Mal's hand by course of law, there were various regulations setting fees for running a business or renting a house. Bohemian lands were long open to foreigners, relatively speaking, with lively trade and cultural exchange. First Celts, then Germanic tribes and Slavs, looking very long time ago. But a large portion of the populace was German-speaking people. Germans were mainly courtiers or working entrepreneurs and merchants. Relations with Germans were neutral at first, cooling off later, and ending up with an animosity against all things German that was still far removed from the nationalism of the 19th century. Worse relations existed between the Czechs and Germans on one side and Jews on the other. Jewish people lived outside of society, which often, having gotten permission from the king for handsome price, carried out pogroms against them. Plague and disease in the mid-14th century affected migration, and fewer foreign earners came to Bohemia. During the Hussite Wars, most of the towns had the majority Czech citizenry. One of the main centers in Moravia, made largely German, Brno, Jirlova, and Olomouc. The Czech language gradually permeated from rural society to the higher social strata. Fundamental change in how language and ethnicity was viewed came with the Hussite Wars, which most Czech speakers identify with the Hussites, while most Germans support Sigismund and the Pope. This was exacerbated by foreign German crusades summoned by Sigismund against the Hussites. Honestly, to my knowledge, these are not bad write-ups. They're very much political history write-ups, but they're not bad write-ups. Okay, I love his outfit. He's clearly richer than the rest of us. And same with Deutsch. Right, Deutsch's outfit is our generic German dude. The way they deal with this is by saying we're not in Prague, there are no Jewish people. They did in fact swap places in the table, which was why I got confused. But also look at the gold in his thing. But yeah, no, they're gonna deal with anti-Semitism by saying that there are no Jews because we are in a rural town about 40 kilometers away from Prague, and therefore it's completely irrelevant. Which, you know, one could make worse choices. I'm not gonna harp on them too harshly for that because, whatever. I would have liked to see more representation of more diverse people, but you know, they have promised they are working on a sequel, and they will have to eventually deal with Prague, and so we'll ding them for how they do that when they do that. Oh. Is this his house? This freshly whitewashed ones? Yep. Sure is. We're gonna so get in trouble for this.
So are we doing this or not?
Wait. We have to check that the coast is clear.
Why? Deutsch is in the tavern.
But maybe you noticed after all these years that he has a wife and a son.
And that's a problem?
Aye, it is. Henry, you go lure her away sometime.
Oh, it's not gonna be a DLC, it's gonna be straight up in the sequel.
Because you're the clever one.
Yeah. How are you, Henry?
Is the coast... Sir. No one's around, he says. Why do we need to pay attention, he says. Ooh, is that a pigeon coop? I kinda just want to fuck off into the woods, TBH. Those woods look lovely. Yes, we're doing nothing. Yes, random villager with no name. We are doing nothing of note, don't worry about us. Honestly, by the 15th century, glasses weren't even expensive. Like, yeah, you'd have to probably go into Prague to get the glass blowers to make the lenses, but like... head that way. Just like, head that way for a while. You'll be there in a couple of days. There's an inn along the road. You'll be in Prague in no time. I feel bad about doing this to this house. I actually really like this house. Hey, she's... That's a good hat. I like that hat. You... I mean, I don't hate it, but I'd love if you had... a funny... if you had, like, a funny wimple. Also, she's doing embroidery, I guess? I guess she's theoretically supposed to be doing, like, small detail embroidery.
What do you want, lad?
I just went by the tavern and your husband was in there talking nonsense. I thought someone should take him home before he gets himself in trouble.
What sort of nonsense?
Well, he kept saying that Sigismund was right and King Wenceslas is a drunkard, that sort of thing. Some people took exception, so I thought...
God almighty, the fool.
He already started on the popes.
He might have mentioned the popes too.
Hey!
Thank you for telling me. I just hope I can catch it.
Also, her outfit rules. I actually really like her outfit. Her outfit is very good. Well, alright lads.
What are you waiting for, soldier? Fire the trebuchet! For King and country.
For king and country, my ass. This is all good, clean, fun.
Nearly as good as having that traitor in the pillory. Nearly. Now that would be sweet.
That's for Sigismund.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
You bastards! What the fuck do you think you're doing?
Hey, Hans, can't you see? We're decorating your house for you.
It's like your old man was saying in the tavern about that traitor Sigismund. We're just doing what we have to do. Oh, sons! I'll make those smiles off your faces!
He has the most German accent.
I'd like to see you try. What are you doing here, Zbyszek? Hanging out with this boxy Deutscher? Maybe you'd like to try out the latest
Well,
German fashion.
like he is the most German.
Fucker! I'll make you pay for that.
Uh-oh. So we are now in a fight. I'm sure this will be fine. Unarmed combat, left click for hook, right click to jab, F to kick. Well, those are terrible controls. Are you not going... Are you going to not update to tell me what the... Fine. Fine. Wolfie, yes, it is. The word for German, the German language and German speakers in Czech is actually really old. Oh, I can't remember what its name is. What it translates to, basically, is those who don't speak the language being Slavic. Hang on. Check. Niemiec. So, yeah, I guess, like, the mute ones is probably okay, an okay translation. So German being, Niemiec, I believe. Alright, we'll try and do this one in this, I guess. Oh, you gave up. Alright.
What are you doing? For God's sake! Stop right now! The catch pole is on his way!
Run away! Run away!
God save you, Henry.
We ran down, yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Guard. Glad you stopped this fight that you could clearly see. Well then. Wasn't that exciting. The unarmed animations are not great, are they? I'm not even gonna pretend that they're good. Oh. You feeling okay, Deutsch? Look, don't take it personally, okay?
Greetings, Henry.
What a weirdly stiff way for Bianca to say hello. Greetings! Yes! I am your girlfriend. I will introduce myself as Greetings.
Hates mustard, and bacon is too common for him. Oh, I see.
That's a nuisance.
Can you think of anything I can do with it?
Look, it's all about the season. Just roast it with a bit of lard, the same as you do.
Mm-hmm.
But add some rosemary and
Yeah.
Rosemary?
The best thing for him. I heard it from a travelling merchant. He had it in Prague, and he said it was delicious.
Alright, so. I'll try it. And if he doesn't like it, I'll lock him in the hen coop so he'll have a proper appetite next time. That'll ruffle his feathers.
I mean, yes.
Maybe you should have done that a long time ago.
I mean, yes, rosemary and juniper on hair sounds delicious. But you had to hear from a traveling merchant.
Those pies tomorrow.
You had to hear from a traveling merchant to think to put one of the most common spices in the region on one of the most common meats in the region.
Not this time. I'm here for something else. I don't need anything.
Ooh, horseradish. Ew. Ew.
Everything for the house. Garden and field. Knives, axes, rakes, hoes. Get the best right here.
A charcoal burner. Unfortunately, I have no cash. So I need to locate where the heck I'm finding cash first.
Hey, Pip. Do you want to learn something?
No, I don't think so. Thanks.
Suit yourself.
How accurate would I say this is? Honestly, right, in terms of the reconstruction of the town, like, it is, I won't even pretend that it's bad, right? It is actually very good. Some of the exposition is clunky. Right. Oh yes, we need the German guy being drunk in the tavern, toasting his wealth, talking about how Sigismund is better, and how the German counts are causing problems. But I mean, I guess my big complaint about it. No, she said, "Greetings, Henry, Magistressa." I guess, right, so yeah, my criticism so far is that even though this is a small town, right, this is clearly pretty small. I'd like to see things, like, a little bit just more. Like, this dude's outfit rules. This dude's outfit absolutely slaps.
Goods, handy implements, and machines of every kind.
But there's so few people around here.
Strong linen, delicate velvet, beautiful and functional.
This is probably a pretty wealthy town. If the Lord is actually as important as they say he is, right? If Raditz is actually that important, the town's probably fairly wealthy. So to that end, right, the fact that we're seeing people doing stuff, right, selling, I think you said you were selling velvet? I think you had said you were selling, like, velvets. So, not an insubstantial amount of money. And that would mean I expect the town to actually be quite a bit larger than it is. In terms of number of people. In terms of number of houses, this is actually totally fine. And in terms of the quality of the house construction, this is totally fine. Nice whitewashed stuff, well-carved planks, wooden shingles, instead with only a few that are using thatch. All of that's totally fine. But there's so few people. There's so few people. This is also a silver mining town? Oh, that is important. So I guess theoretically lots of people could just be in the mines right now. But yeah. I'd like to see a lot more... A lot more people wandering around. And so you'd even have a few more of these pop-up market stalls. With animals nearby, right? Because they do need to be able to back up and haul them. So like we see with the charcoal burner here. right? We've got the wagon with the horses just right there. I'd like to see the same things going on here, or at least a location where the animals are staying. If they're staying up at the castle, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But I want them to be staying somewhere. And I want a few more of these stalls crowding into the street a little bit more. But yeah, there's definitely some stuff of just processing, right? Perfect. Right. That is an unbelievably petty nitpick. Unbelievably petty. But, you know, that's the vibe today, so we're gonna stick with it. That the town has too few people in it. Because most of these houses are... Oh, also, a complaint that was brought up earlier that we are seeing again. Okay, yeah. I mean, nice pretzels right there. We love ourselves some pretzels. But, that's not cheap. Given that that's not cheap... I mean, I love that it's on the wall. Big fan of it. I would probably interpret that as saying, oh, we're in some sort of larger guild, but, also just convenience. That could be totally just for convenience, to mark that this is a shop. I just want more people, more people per house, basically. Right, these are fairly big houses. And so in this period, one could probably very plausibly suggest that there are... Seriously? That wiped my stamina. That wiped my stamina. And by the way, my name is you, and this dude gifting to Dildrum. Thank you for the gifty subs. And the prime subs. It is super duper appreciated. Oh well.
A bite to eat.
Seriously? You're getting hungry already? Chill. Anyway, houses in this period would be probably multi-generational affairs, and so you'd have yourself and most of the extended family would probably be in the area. In practice, what that actually ends up meaning is that a house this big could easily have 10 to 15 people in it. Hail Hydrate, thank you, Magistressa. I would need... Oh, and Wolfie with 10 gifted subs to start our hype train rolling. Remember, hype trains give you special emotes and are a great way to help support the channel. So any bits, for the next about 5 minutes, any bits and subs gifted go straight into helping you get those emotes. Only people who participate get those emotes, so if you have a few to spare, you can start dropping them by. Oh, sorry, Deutsch. And since we're already at level 4, I want to see if we can get to level 5 and get all the emotes. Brian Stewart with the first time chat, coming off strong with 100 bits. We appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying. So yeah, I mean, I've completely lost the plot. I don't know. I have no idea where we're going. Buy a bag of charcoal at the mark. Buy ale at the tavern. Collect the dead from there. Ah, so we're just heading all the way over towards D&E. Yep.
Good day, Henry.
We figured out where we're going eventually. But yeah. Where are we at? Oh, right, children. Like, where are they? I see none of them. I see zero children in and around here. This was a complaint that was brought up about the game, and I think one that is totally fair. Because, yeah, in a town of this size, town with this much money, town, this close to a castle in this period with this many multi-generational shenanigans, yeah, there definitely, undoubtedly, would be children around.
Well, we sorted that Deutsch out.
That was pretty close, eh?
That old bastard didn't stand a chance.
True, but I'm worried that fucker Hans will snitch on us.
Maybe the children are all in the mines? We can hope the children are not all in the mines.
Anyway, what can I do to us for throwing a bit of dung?
Good point. It's not as if anyone really likes the Deutsch.
Anyway, nice job at the Deutsches.
Maybe it's to keep psychopaths from turning this into child murder simulator? You could just let them not kill children. Right? Right? You could just make children immortal. Outside the specific cutscenes where you want that to be the point. It would be doable. It would be actually quite easy to do. Just make the children immortal, and then you can't be a psychopath who murders them. And if they complain that, my historical accuracy doesn't let me commit child murder, it's like, well, you're a psychopath, I don't actually care.
God be with you, Kunesh.
What do you want?
My father sent me to get the coin you owe him for the axe, hammer and nails.
I've got nothing. Clear off.
I knew you'd be trouble. Father says if you don't pay up, he'll come here himself and hammer those nails into your hairy arse.
I'd like to see him try. Fuck off, you bastard, or your old man will be pulling those nails out of you.
Well,
I must have misheard you. It sounded like you just told me to clear off. But you wouldn't be stupid enough to think you can steal, not pay your debts, and then try to scare me. Would you?
You son of a whore. How dare you speak to me like that? Didn't your thieving father teach you any manners? No? Well, I'll teach you then. Been a pleasure. Curse it!
What's up? Shit yourself?
Kunda!
Missed.
what? I disagree. I don't know how to... I blocked that. I hard disagree. My block seems to do literally nothing. I love when my blocks do absolutely zero things. What?
Oh dear, did that hurt? Sod!
How did that miss?
You're going to cry now.
Seriously? Like...
Way off. You had it coming, you pup. Your old man can fuck off too.
Okay, but most of those... You understand that most of those... I was not punching. He just, like... I jabbed him and then he immediately kicked me. Right? He just, like, immediately kicked me. When I'm still reeling to things, and yeah. I'm suspicious. Also, I should probably eat something, I guess. Inventory. Eat. Both of those. And the bread rolls.
Ma? Ma! I'm hurt. Won't stop bleeding.
Oh, now, stop squealing like a baby and show me that. There you are, good as new. You ought to learn to do that yourself.
Thanks, Ma.
I should probably wash up too, because I seem to be covered in blood. Combat in this game is jank. We have now learned that the hard way. Well, you know, being in a fight is not good advice. I would note that it is, like, I get that they want to go for this is difficult. Yes, thank you, Magistress, I am a scrub. I get that they want to go for this is difficult, but as it turns out, there is a meaningful difference between our tutorial is bad and right, just a difference between badly designed and not, and being intense or difficult. Anyway, thank you for the raid, Six Keys. Good to see you. We are being very nitpicky about Kingdom Come because the game claims it's being historically accurate, and that means every chance we're seeing to not be historically accurate, we are dinging it points. That being said, there is a lot, especially in our material reconstructions, to really like here. Like, you know, this random guard, who is helpfully named Guard. Good job, Guard. Your outfit is good. His outfit is actually very good. As far as I can tell, anyway. Good brocade. I have no money, though. Whoa.
Hey.
Why did that... Okay, yes, I see you, quest marker C. I see that I am on top of you. What do you want from me? Guards the family name, exactly. Let's just maybe sneak in. Maybe we can just steal the money.
locked chest. I'll need a lockpick to get into that. Fritz might have one.
Maybe we could just steal all the money. You saw nothing. Fritz, are you still over here? Fritz, you had been over here. Yeah.
God save you, Henry.
Fritz, what's up?
Listen, there's this locked chest I need to get into.
Yeah?
Really? An honest trade not good enough for you anymore?
Uh-huh.
It's just that someone has something that doesn't belong to him, and I want to take it back.
If you say so. It's not skin off my nose anyway. I've got some lockpicks you can have.
We could also just beat up on him with the gang.
Never heard of you. Thanks, Fritz.
We'll tutorialize this. Just need to wait for him to leave. Hey! God save you, Henry. Hello, my friend. We are, we lost our fight. And so we're just waiting for him to, you know, stop paying attention so I can go steal his stuff. Come on. Look away. Look away from your own door so I can walk in and steal it. Well. Thank you. Just gonna close this one behind us. How does this work? How does... Seriously, how does this work? In order to pick lock, you must have at least one lockpick in your inventory. Uh-huh. Have to use the... So, okay, it turns gold when we find it. When we find the correct spot, it turns gold. And... then we have to... Oh gosh, that is finicky, isn't it? Yep. Wow, that is so finicky. That is so finicky. Really? Really? Wow. Yeah. We'll just, I guess...
Who's there?
Yeah, the problem is, right, I switched it to be the simplified lockpicking, which I think is probably my problem. We'll change that back to the normal, because the simplified one, you just hold a button and then it automatically rotates. The problem is, with having no idea how fast it's rotating, it was just a complete guess as to where the finicky nonsense of the sweet spot was.
Everything for the house. Garden and field. Knives, axes. God be with you.
We're going to be selling. Oh, you sell relevant things. How much do you cost? You cost 172. Ha. Alright. Huh? What happened to... Ah, gotcha. This goes into a basket. Doesn't get me a lot of cash. Let's see what else we can reasonably sell. Maybe we'll sell some of these apples. Maybe we'll sell, like, you know, 15 apples. We can haggle if we want. We can also not.
No, that looks like stolen goods. I won't buy that.
Well, it's a hammer and nails that my dad made. What are you talking about? Sophia! Goodbye, apples. Exactly. Okay, if apples go bad quickly in this... If apples go bad in faster than like a month in this game, I'm gonna have problems. How could he tell? It's a mystery to me. He can smell the heathen nails and hammer. Actually, probably can still smell the alcohol in it. Whatever, we at least... Maybe we at least sold the...
Rooms for your house.
And there's no one I can actually... Let's see if I've got the... Let's see if I at least sold the apples. Because if I at least sold the apples... nope. Nope. I did not sell the apples. Alright, but, like... Let me guess. You're also not going to take the stolen goods? Got it, that's how that works. Come on, if you're also not going to sell... a couple of carrots.
Don't try selling me stolen goods.
Honestly, you are all useless. There's not that many traders in town. Hello, Lonely Spaceport. Right, because there's like the guy over here, or there's the like... Well, there's the one I saw, yeah, there's the one in here. Which if they're not taking them, none of them are going to get them. If none of these people are taking them, then who does that leave? Am I missing someone obvious here?
Come, people, come.
Like, we're just gonna sell we're gonna sell our, like, winter crop then. What an absolute travesty. We're gonna sell 20 apples then. And 10 carrots. And our last lockpick. Just steal his axe. Smart. Solve the problem of stealing by stealing more things. Honestly, not a bad strat. We in for a penny, in for a pound? Charcoal. I need 10 charcoal, I think, for the quest. Right. Yeah. 10 of those. Oh, right, I need to sell the axe. I need to steal the axe, too. Forgot about that. I got his hammer and nails, but not his axe. Where is his axe? He's using his axe. He he he. Come on, put it down. I'm not being suspicious here. Don't worry about it. No one has been no. Yep, you definitely aren't looking at me, sitting here, staring at you from inside a bush. Nope. I'm not a cartoon thief, villain. I promise. This'll all be fine. Just walk around the corner.
Hey! Damn! A thief! He's stealing here!
Okay.
You! Stop right where you are. Surrender. You committed a crime and I'm arresting
Rakes, spades,
Nonsense.
all you need to tame Mother Nature.
Hey.
Alright, enough. I give up. You hear?
This is fine. Everything's fine.
Maybe next time you'll think twice about breaking the law.
I don't know. Well, we tried. I am bad at crime, aren't I?
Hey! I'm over here! What the hell's going on? Let me out!
Interesting. So now I just die? That's hysterical. I mean, that's extremely funny. Hopefully they do have autosaves. Oh, that's extremely funny. Okay. Did this, done that. I don't exactly have a way out of here. Game over, I died in jail.
Apples, cucumbers, onions, come get 'em.
Honestly, that's extremely funny. I'm very amused by that. Now, will it actually let me... It put me back here? It put me back here? It put me back. Alright, right trigger, right button. Kick. Those are also terrible controls.
What are you doing? For God's sake! Stop right now! The catch-pole is on his way!
Saves in this game are a limited resource. I thought they patched that. If they did not actually patch that, and it still is a garbage limited resource, I'm gonna be very mad. The combat system is really abysmal, isn't it? What?
Damn it, lads. What do you think you're playing at? Are you trying to get yourselves in trouble?
Nah.
The Deutsch was insulting King Wenceslas. He got what he deserved.
So that's why. Deutsch isn't a bad fellow, but he should drop this nonsense about Sigismund.
Just tell him the truth. That works flawlessly every time.
So you don't mind that we...
Don't gape like a stuffed squirrel. Do you take me for a German, mother? I serve my lord, and my lord serves the king, and that's Wenceslas. But what to do with you now? The Deutsch will make trouble.
At least we're seeing different content this time, right?
So I won't go to jail.
Ha! Who'd pay for your grub? You know what? The Deutsch got what he deserved. I'll go and have a word with your father.
Oops, that's not better.
Now clear off before I change my mind.
That's not better. I was not expecting him to be running right through the middle like that, TBH. Like, not even slightly. Wow, you are standing extremely awkwardly, sir. Just, yep. Well. Yeah, that's not gonna be fine. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do this time. Everyone, my friends are gonna help me, and then we'll just collectively beat him up.
That was pretty close, eh?
Actually, you caught me.
What? And how come you're here?
He let me go. He's on our side.
What?
Are you pulling my pizzle?
He doesn't like the Deutsch any more than we do. He said he'll fix it.
Alright, it was inevitable. Incredible.
Nice job at the Deutsches.
Incredible.
Never a dull moment with you lot.
Olivine, hello. You heard I love the Librarian show? You heard correctly. Right. Czechs versus Germans. So funny, haha. Aren't we having a great time? And like, I don't know, it's hard to...
Welcome. Henry, I'm glad you came.
It is hard for me to not read that in light of, you know, much later Czech nationalism. Alright. We're gonna go talk to him, he's gonna tell us that we're jerks, and then we're going to leave. We're gonna get our friends to help beat him up.
God be with you, Kunesh.
What do you want?
My father sent me to get the coin you owe him for the axe, hammer, and nails.
I've got nothing. Clear off.
Yep. Nah.
Father says if you don't pay
Let's hammer. Let's do all of this.
I'd like to see him try. Fuck off, you bastard, or your old man will be pulling those nails out of you.
Uh-huh.
Look, I know things aren't easy. The wife ran off.
Wow. Holy shit.
As much use as a square wheel. It's no wonder you're short of coin. But a debt's a debt, and I can't leave here without something.
You son of a whore. How dare you speak to me like that? Didn't your thieving father teach you any manners? No? Well, I'll teach you then. Goodbye.
There we go, we actually got the block off for a change. Ow.
What's the matter? Come on.
Oh, come on, see? Like... Hey, friends. Friends, are you gonna literally just stand there? Literally just gonna...
You had it coming, you pup. And your old man can fuck off too.
Uh-huh. Y'all. I'm glad they were helpful. We're gonna get healed up first, and then we're gonna beat them up with our friends. It's a superb AI. His... Hang on, no, you know what? Boom. Your typical Czech behavior? Oh, I mean, alright, fair. You would know better than I do. So...
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
there you are. You ought to learn.
Thanks, Ma.
So you're wearing makeup. I have no idea what the history of makeup is, but she's got the blush. The blush is very well done. Like the look is on point, but I'm questioning the historicity. Absolutely flawless lipstick. And a good blush. Also, you know what? That's actually an important point. No names. Even our mother doesn't have one. Right. Let's add that to the list. That our mother's name is our mother, and that is the sum total of her character. The blush is just rosacea. True. The blush does mean that she's sanguine, so she should be put into a cold bath. And if that doesn't work, give in mint tea. And if that doesn't work, stick the leeches on her.
God save you, Henry.
Hey Fritz, I need your help.
We've sorted out Deutsch. Now I've got someone else to deal with.
Another beating? Count me in.
Kunesh owes money to my father, but he won't pay. I'll have to shake it out of him.
Sure, mate. You helped us, so we'll help you. Let's get to it then.
Perfect. Hey, Kunesh.
Kunesh, get out here, you old goat.
He's literally right there. See.
What the fuck are you here for? You want me to take a whip to you or call a catch pole? Just try.
Look at this. You're weak in the knees, have you?
Ow.
What's the matter? Come on.
There we go. Immediately works.
Enough! I give up. Take what you want. It's not much, but it's all I have. You understand?
Find something that Kunesh is worth selling. Well, alright. Yoink. Both of those. See if there's anything else. He's got a ginormous house. Yeah. The axe around the corner will get. But I will say...
All right, blacksmith's boy, you got the better of me. Take what you want, but you haven't heard the last of this.
I would suggest, that's an enormous house. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms. Admittedly, this one's also half an animal pen. A separate inbuilt hearth instead of one just like stones on the floor. A relatively nice table, honestly. Love the lamp though. Genuinely love that lamp. That's excellent. Oh yeah, full-size doors with handles and latches. And instead that we can conveniently walk through. Like, this house is huge. Even though it's thatch roofed where some of these other ones are wooden shingles. That still is a massive house that you could sell for quite a bit. And are we supposed to be saying that this is attached to this is on the same property as this? Because if it is, you have 2 whole horses, my man. If we are saying that these two are part of the same thing, which I don't think we're supposed to, but we could. You are pretty wealthy for 2 healthy horses.
Satin damask, scarlet to please the ladies in your eyes. Just come right up.
Just a few little things.
Kettles.
Nice hat.
All I need.
Baskets for goods and torch.
Too many rooms and too little furniture for the space. They're actually... don't even worry about that. Don't worry about that. We're actually... I guess we'll sell the axe too. Part of me is tempted to just hold on to the axe and equip it, but I feel like it's not going to matter. I have a suspicion that it's not going to matter.
Let's talk about the price.
Naturally.
Uh-huh. Haggling works both ways, whether you want to buy cheap or sell dear. Select the amount you want to pay up there. Uh-huh. Okay. Yep. Sure.
Satisfied?
Close. Drop the price a bit more and we'll shake on it. See now, I knew we'd come to an agreement.
Rakes, spades, forks, and axes.
I bet you'll never have the chance to get that fancy sword away. What? What gives you that idea? It's not like they've been dropping plot flags about how important that fancy sword is the entire game.
Hey, Pip. Do you want to look? Have you recovered from yesterday's great wound?
Oh, it was nothing. Except Mother noticed and had a word or two to say about it.
Oh no.
No mother's happy when a son starts to take an interest in swords. Where there's weapons, there's death. The question is, what do you want?
I don't want to rot in this hole forever. I feel like I don't belong here. I want to live and see the world. The world's a dangerous place and I need to know how to protect myself.
Spoken like a man. And as it happens, today's your last chance. I have to leave. So, are you ready to get stuck in?
Yes.
Alright, I'll wait on the ground by the sheepfold as usual.
There's an implication here that is very common in, RPG fantasy media. That, oh yes, we have this sheltered little village away from the world, and the protagonist, because they're a big hero and have strong protagonist energy, says, I don't want to live here forever. That is not the realities of how medieval people, even medieval peasantry, existed. Like, we'd go to Sazava on the regular at the very least, Sasau. And as I said, it's 2 days journey to Prague. Right? If you head the directions that way, 2 days. You're going to be inside Prague. So during the weekly festivals around Christmas, when there's those massive markets in Prague's town square, and have been since the 14th century, why would we not go? Especially if we are, you know, relatively affluent. You may notice we are set off from the rest of it. We are inside the castle. Inside the castle borders, and relatively well off being a swordsmith, working for a relatively prominent lord. We could go to Prague like all the time, and from Prague you could go lots of places.
We can. Good. And since today's the last time we'll be seeing each other, you can show me everything I've taught you so far. Very well. Let's start with the basics. Keep moving. Your life depends on it.
Whoa.
Alright. Now try to hit me. You have to put your weight into your attack. If you just fiddle around, you'll get nowhere. Try slashing from different sides. Unpredictability is the key. Never repeat yourself.
Oh, right. Oh, wait, what? Right trigger. Whoa. Combat? Hey, combat. Right trigger.
Good. Once again.
God.
Now you're getting it. Fine. Good. Fine. The point of the blade is for stabbing.
Okay.
Try it a few times.
I assume that's that, yeah?
Good. Once again. Good.
Hey, I actually hit him this time.
Good. Let's try something else. One strike, I can fend off without a sweat. But if you chain your strikes, I'll have a much harder time. As soon as you land one blow, follow it with another. Nice. All right. Good.
Cool. Chain of attacks.
All right. That's enough. I don't know about you, but I'm tired and thirsty. Remember though, train hard. No one becomes a master swordsman overnight. You have to work and work. And the main thing is to use what you've learned in real combat. There's nothing better than experience, believe me.
Yes. Yep, chat seems to be nicely agreeing. Yeah, Wolfie, once we get swords in our hand, the animation seems to be much better, though still, slow. But yes, remember, Lizard, you weren't here for the disclaimers, but remember, the defense that they will leverage, or that, Warhorse, and more specifically Daniel Vavra, leverages against all of that other information is, but this is rural Bohemia, not all of those places. This is a relative backwater, even by the standards of medieval Europe.
I'll have to get something to eat. I'm starting to get hungry.
Therefore, saying, oh yes, you know, but there were pilgrimages to Canterbury with some regularity, if not farther afield, in England, is like, well, he would say, well, that's irrelevant, because this isn't the point. Right, that's not here. Here it does things differently. He's wrong. You know, given that this is still on the Camino de Santiago, as I said earlier. And yeah, you know, there were... Sasau is a pilgrimage site. Jan, I don't know if you're still around, but right, at some point we're gonna get you on, to talk about Sasau. But also, yeah, we are 2 days away from Prague. We are 2 days away from actually Prague.
my pleasure.
God save, my lovely. You're looking well today.
You too, handsome. What brings you here?
Your beauty, of course.
Oh, noble sir. I'm as honored as any simple maid can be.
Alright, well, at least she has a little bit of sass, but like, also, veil?
What else might your worship desire?
I need ale for father.
A pitcher as usual?
Aye. Bring me a cool one from the cellar.
But of course.
See, the people in the present day have recalibrated their expectations? Probably. A 2-day journey is enough to become the boonies. I mean, I'm not denying that this place is quite rural.
Here you go. And this evening I'll have something more for you.
I can't wait.
Thanks. You'll have something to look forward to this evening.
You too.
Welcome.
Oh, by the way, that shifty-looking fellow was asking after you.
Vanya?
I suppose. He is a man who makes his coin robbing honest wayfarers. I'm sure of it.
But yeah.
I'll be happy when he's gone for good. But what in heaven's name are you?
What are we doing with,
He promised to teach me how to use a sword.
What use would that be to you?
Enough. You sound just like father.
Uh-huh.
I'll be going now. See you this evening.
Hal, I've got something special for you.
Is that so? Now what would that be?
Uh-huh.
Your favorite, Savior Schnapps.
Really?
No.
You're an angel.
Oh no.
Me properly later.
We can now save the game once. Oh, sorry, we can save it 5 times. Okay. Did you see... Did you see... They had a 3.5-inch floppy disk on it. We're dinging them for that. Should surprise nobody. Wait, clothing and fashion. Do they actually say anything for this? Clothing for villagers and other commoners had to... Hey, Agalias, this kind of actually seems to expect it. Look at the quality of... Look at how good these hats are. You know, they can be Second Dynasty Egypt. That's not something I have a problem with. But they're not 15th century Bohemian. See, anachronism goes both directions, but... And last for years, be worn in all kinds of weather. Generally consisted of simple shirts and tunics. Men wore linen knickers down to their knees. Winter, they wore hooded cloaks, fur jackets, and caps. Wide-brimmed hats, all the time. Footwear were simple. Were natural colors. Natural, I feel like, is doing some work here. Because dyed clothing is not rare, especially for common dyes. So you'd see a lot of fairly dull greens and blues and yellows, like what we're seeing. It's just that natural means made of vegetables, which is all of the colors. Exception was festive apparel, towns, clothing held rare, significant, etc. Bags, belts, gloves, hats, and other head coverings. 14th and 15th century unwed young women had long hair which they wore down or in braids. Women in town adorned their hair with ribbons, pearls, wreaths, and vines. Older married women wore pearled nets on their heads, white or colored veils or hats. I would expect that we're seeing some kind of head covering for at least some young women, but yeah. They do actually specifically deal with that. What did you drop on here again? incredible. They actually made Savior Schnapps into an actual thing that you can buy. Of course they did. Wine, belladonna, and nettle. Yeah, that sounds horrible. That sure does sound like schnapps. Absolutely terrible. 0 out of 10. Don't feel like drinking them. So the mechanic is employed to sell merch. Sure looks that way, doesn't it? Right. I'd also expect like some sort of just tie up for someone working. Right. For someone working something strikes me as weird in this place. What is it? Huh. I can't place it. Sorry, I had a flash that something wasn't right here, but I don't know enough to be able to play. Oh. I don't know enough to be able to place it. Not enough. Look at color on the walls is definitely part of it. I'm questioning the deer. I'm definitely questioning the random hide.
God be with you, Henry.
I mean, the music, yeah, we haven't even talked, the bare wood, right, y'all are nailing a whole bunch of things that are just, like, very vaguely weird. Like, I can't actually know, like, I don't actually know, for the most part, what the extent to which that would be inaccurate, and I think it would be hard to, I'd be hard-pressed to say that we have, a ton of really good surviving buildings to tell us. But my instinct would be that this should all be whitewashed. Right? That, like the outside of the building, which is at least a little bit whitewashed, that we see more?
Huh.
Right? How old is that style of taxidermy? My brain says 19th century. My brain says not medieval. But I don't know enough to say otherwise. We'll try and keep an eye out for another tavern. And yeah, this has definitely been whitewashed. Right? You can see, even though it's fading, you can see that it was filled in up to the wooden beams. With presumably originally daub and then whitewashing over the top of it. But yeah, I'd expect the interior to also be whitewashed instead of looking like an American West hunting lodge. Oh well. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll see, we'll see if I can, in between streams, look up some stuff on that to be able to give better information, because I can't guarantee... I don't know that that's wrong, and so we're not going to ding it until I have my grounding all in a row. But I am getting strange vibes.
Yeah, about time. You got everything I wanted.
I think so. We got the charcoal, and we got ale, and we got the crossguard. Yeah.
Charcoal, the hilt, and the ale. We can start.
Good job. Let's have it then, son. Well done.
Yeah, right, my instinct, Agilize, is skull mounting instead. Yeah.
Job the master in Sasau did for us. Look at that, lad.
Well, that is beautiful.
Craftsmanship.
What does the inscription mean?
Damned if I know. Doesn't look like
like checked. Latin, maybe?
Yeah.
Lord Radzig ordered it.
It is Latin. I saw Libra Nos.
This will be the finest sword I've ever made. We got the charcoal? Good. Fire up the forge. Put it all together.
Remember, KJ, though,
By the way, someone paid me a call. I reckon you might know what it was about.
remember that this is a Czech studio?
Not sure. Really?
And so, remember, framing things in terms of the US is probably not super helpful here, because they are very proud that this is a very Czech nationalist stance.
That Deutsch was talking treason in the tavern about Sigismund and the king. He got what he deserved.
Got what he deserved, did he? You can go and clean up the mess you made and apologise to me. I have a trade to run. The German pays well. And having my son in the pillory helps nothing and nobody, least of all the king.
It's the same name, Nerem, right? Hal is a nickname for Henry.
Look me in the eye,
Henry. Now, his name should be Yindrich, but that's fine.
I understand. Good.
Yeah, that's why in like Shakespeare, Henry VI is Prince Hal.
Right to let
Or
traitors speak ill
Henry.
of our king.
The boy gets caught,
Yeah.
making a fool of himself, and he still hasn't learned his lesson. So Deutsch spouts rubbish and what? You turn into a common thug. You might win a fight with violence, but you'll never win an argument. Remember, Henry, if you want to convince someone that they're wrong, try using your mouth.
No, this sounds fake. This sounds like bad advice, chat. I say as someone who makes my career off of using words.
Furnace is ready.
Right, we'll do the grip. I'll heat it up, and when I take it out, you slip the grip on so it fits exactly.
Rex Familia. Okay. Sure. I guess king and family above all, but.
Do it. Good. Once more. That's it. Done. Now file it down so it sits well in the hand. I'll prepare the guard.
You only need gloves if you're a myth. Or something.
Father, why did you leave Prague? Who ever heard of a master swordsmith making horseshoes in a village?
I had my reasons, Hal. And here I
Oh,
have
okay, revenge,
Why would
yeah.
I want any other life?
Do you remember Emperor Charles?
I do. Life was good under his reign.
Uh-huh.
Better than now.
He built half of Prague, and a score of castles,
Uh-huh.
had a bridge made over the Moldau, and founded a university, and all without a war. He knew how to rule.
Where are the drudges to work the bellows? European blacksmiths and media are often way too solitary. I super agree.
Wenceslas doesn't have it easy.
I mean, theoretically, that was us.
It's hard
That's
to
what we
step
are
into the
doing.
shoes of someone whose like is born only once 1,000 years.
What about Sigismund?
Do you think Charles would have brought an army down on his own people like Sigismund? No. Wenceslas may not be the equal of his father, but Sigismund, he brings shame to the royal name. How's it going? Give it here, and we'll put it all together.
Alright, so now we're going to trim that, right? We're going to put... Yeah, I guess that still is fine, right? I think the threaded pommels don't show up until a bit later, so yeah.
Indeed it is. The Lord be with you. My father sent me for those nails.
Good day to you, Teresa. They're ready. Will you fetch them for me, Hal? They're in the trunk in the living room.
Henry, are you alright?
Hey, shush. We'll eat some of these, I guess. That should help our hunger issue. And inside the house, and off we go. Inside the trunk, inside the house. Nope, that's a lockpicked one. Why would I need to lockpick my own family's? Oh, good. We're just gonna take all real quick, because I'm sure I'll need those. And here we go. You want to stop the fancy pawn from getting rid of a hammer? You might, but probably not.
She's fine. Why do you ask?
Just wondering, will you be going to the dance this evening?
We will.
Maybe we'll see each other there. Anyway, mustn't keep you. I'll be on my way. That sword is truly beautiful.
Oh, come on. Strictly unnecessary.
Fine lass, eh? Now, stop staring at her and come and see this. It's time for the trial by fire.
Uh-huh.
We did a fine job.
I would expect nothing
Hooray.
less from such a renowned swordsmith.
Well, those days are gone, sir.
Man did a wire inlay. Oh, true. True, he super did. He did leather wrapping.
Would you like to try it?
Sir, what good is a sword to a commoner?
Let him try it. You still have a lot to learn. Ask your father to show you how. He knows what he's about.
Learning his trade will serve him better in life. Sir.
Perhaps. But who knows what the future holds for each of us. I see that you almost have it finished.
It just needs a polish, then Henry will bring it to you.
Excellent. Fine work. Very fine.
As he should.
A sword such as this will bring honor to its bearer. What say you, Svan?
True, Sir Radzik. If I'd have had its like back in Nicopolis, things would have worked out differently. How odd to find such an accomplished swordsmith working in a place like this. A man of his talent would have no problem making a fortune in Prague or Vienna.
You're right.
Are we going to critique this guy's
It's a very
brigantine?
long and peculiar story.
I'd be glad to listen to it over a cup of wine, but duty
Eh?
calls, and I must leave. Here you are. Learn from your
Like,
father.
it's
He truly
actually
is a
not...
master of his craft.
I'm sure our paths will cross again.
He certainly will.
It's a bit funky, but it's also not terrible
Once
because...
it's ready, send your son up to me with it. Good work, Martin.
Yeah. It's a coat of... It's done up like it's a coat of plate, so you got the studs on the outside to hold
honor is
the
mine,
actual plates inside.
Thank you for
So,
hospitality.
right, I don't think that that's implausible for a, like, luxury armor piece. Probably not a combat armor piece as much, but
That was a long
definitely
time
for a
ago.
luxury one.
I might tell you about it sometime, but not today.
Okay, that's a death flag.
Will you teach me how to use it like Sir Radzik said?
Why?
Well, it could come in useful. Maybe I'll travel a bit before settling down. I'd like to know more than the tavern on the green and the forge.
You know the trouble with an adventurous life, son? It can end before it gets started. I might teach you how to handle a sword, and then someone will shoot you with a crossbow as soon as you set foot outside the house.
Talk as if you've seen it happen.
A man my age has seen a lot. Being a blacksmith might bring no glory, but it has its benefits.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Keeping your
work
head
here
on
that's
your
saying
toes.
he's super gonna get
I want
stabbed.
to end my days in Skalitz, here, beneath the linden tree and by your mother's side.
Well, so do I, one day. But first, I'd like to see the world. Meet new
Again,
people.
why is traveling? Why is traveling?
Let's keep going on about it.
Then you've no need to learn swordplay.
Oh, yeah. Why is traveling immediately adventuring? And why is adventuring the framework? And the answer is, by the way, D&D and Skyrim. Well, that's probably bad. Wander years were common practice for journeymen in the Holy Roman Empire, weren't they? Yeah, absolutely. Same thing in France, that your trade guilds would have something would have periods where you'd send your apprentices to wander around and go meet people. And, right, go learn your trade from other craftsmen. And so you travel around on the rivers all across France. Seriously? Taking that long? Taking that long?
Listen carefully. Take the sword, go into the house, and grab anything else important from the truck. Go to the castle. Hurry.
And what about you?
Your mother is in the village. I'll fetch her and we'll follow right behind.
I'll go with you.
No. You'll do what I say right now. Give the sword to Sir Radzik. If anything happens, he'll take care of you. He owes me.
Well, those gates were well built, I'm sure.
Quickly! We have to close the gates! Move! Come on, we're closing! Move in, people!
Uh-huh.
Come on! Oh, Henry! Thank God! Get inside, quick! We have to shut the gates! Get ready, people! Come on!
Mind this for me.
Are you mad? You can't go back! Get through the gates!
Wonder who's responsible for building the villages? Probably the town blacksmith? Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, nice half-swording. Oh, sure, so he gets to kill people in one hit, like it's nothing. Oh yeah, and by the way, the face mask here means that, and the curved sword, what? What? Literally all of that? Redeemed a nitpick.
Come on, Hal! You can still make it! Run!
So, this is our first introduction to the, Kumans. You can tell that they're Kumans because they're wearing these lovely, lovely masks.
Right to Talmberg! Tell them what's coming! Warn them!
What?
By the moats! There's a path down there! Jump down from the wall and flee!
They are real. They are very much real. They are primarily I think they're in use in this period of, like, starting in the 14th century, going through to the 17th. But yes, they are a real thing. No, I see you. They are very much a real thing. Let's actually switch over back to the design doc, because there's a couple things I want to do here as we're wrapping up the stream. They did have a Polish banner, but or let's call them Kipchoks. Right. One of these helmets. The information, I think, unfortunately, a lot of the scholarship about them is not in English. There is a lot in Russian, which makes it a little bit more difficult. But this does seem to mostly be a fashion thing rather than a necessarily super strong stylistic one. But yeah, I think this is the most famous one, and the one that we saw pretty much recreated in-game, right? It's a helmet, right? I mean, it's not less ridiculous than it's not any less ridiculous than this helm that Henry VIII commissioned, right? Stupid helms are tried and true fashion among warrior elites, so you know, we'll just not even worry about it. But what's important is that this is our framing. The first time we get a good close-up of one, it is a Kuman soldier doing a murder, wearing a mask that disguises his face. So, we're just gonna hit that real quick. And then, I don't know if Jan is still in chat, but I'm going to borrow something from his conference paper and observe, you know that cutscene we just saw with them standing up on the hill? I bet I've got an exact match to it. That's after the battle starts. Yeah, just these first few moments. There you are. I bet I got an exact match for it. Right? Was this the right one? Was it Proti Hashem that you cited as the parallel, or was it one of the earlier Zhishka ones? Perfect. It's there. Pretty much an exact match. Not exactly, but close enough to be pretty explicit. So, chat, welcome to the Czech film industry, or more accurately, the Soviet Czechoslovak film industry, because this is a movie from 1957 called Proti Všem, directed by Otakar Vavra, who I believe is no relation to Daniel. But it is the third of a sequel about the Hussite Wars and Jan Žižka, who, by the way, conveniently is getting a new movie about him that looks terrible. It looks really bad, y'all. That medieval movie that was getting roasted on Twitter is about Jan Žižka, who is a general a couple decades after the events of Kingdom Come Deliverance, and is an incredibly important figure in the Czech nationalist movement. He has a giant statue of him on the north side of Prague. It's a very nice place to overlook and have a beer, TBH. But yeah. Citing a movie as historically accurate imagery for a battle, lol. Will we see a wagon fort? Probably not in this game. if we're extremely lucky in that movie that we will almost certainly not see a wagon fort in, we might. But in this game, we're still too early for them. Anyway, right, it is clearly and explicitly a reference, and, you know, that kind of matters because that means we're looking at, like, basically Soviet, Czechoslovak, Soviet film industry as a meaningful inspiration for what is perceived as historically authentic by the developers of this game. And that's fine, right? That's not a big deal. It happens all the time in the American video game industry. It's just another thing to be aware of. So, and with that, now that we are at the start of the game proper, where we can start to do and see and play more things, go more places, I think that is where we will leave off, because that we got through everything I wanted to, namely our intro, and get through that cutscene. So, thank you all so much for sticking around through this. We had really high attendance this whole time, and it was lovely to have everyone here. We will be back with this regularly over the next few weeks. The schedule might vary a little bit week by week, just around my work schedule. If you haven't, do like Omulpaville just did, and make sure you follow the channel and consider subscribing. It does help support us a lot. If you are not yet, do make sure you've also joined the Discord to be able to talk with us outside of chat, or outside of stream time. I guess you could be an offline chat here, but I'm not sure I would recommend that. Lastly, big thanks to our patrons, all listed here, who make this possible. If you want to support the channel, do head over to patreon.com/ludohistory in order to do that for as little as $2 a month. Anyway, we'll be back later this week. Schedule will be up probably tomorrow. I'll figure that out. But we'll probably be back on Thursday with some nice just chatting, talking about my plan is that we're going to do a tier list of all the museums that I visited over the summer when I was not streaming and instead visiting like 20 museums. So we're going to do a tier list of those. So for some different variety content and different cultural heritage talks, I hope you will consider joining me then. Everything will be publicized on Twitter. Everything will be in the stream schedule tab here on Twitch. And yeah. This has been Kingdom Deliverance, or at least the beginnings of it. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a good rest of your night. Okay? Bye!